If you own SoFi stock, you need to watch this video before tomorrow. Hello, beautiful people. Shalom, money makers. So, SoFi stock is having a very good day today relative to the broader market. SoFi stock is up right now around 4%, but tomorrow is a very big day for the markets. We started out today actually with the Japan Fed raising interest rates for the fourth time in the past few years and the highest level that it's been since basically the 90s. The stock market has reacted kind of mixed. We have some stocks up, some stocks down. We're going to talk about what's happening tomorrow and what we have to look at and why oil dropping right now could be a very good thing for the stock market going forward. All I ask from you is that you give me a beautiful smile to send out those good vibes. Smishity smash that like button because likes are for free, and let's get into it. Please read the disclaimer. So right now, SoFi stock is sitting at $17.83, up 4% on the day. There's still about half an hour for the market to close, so things could shift from a price action. But SoFi stock is getting a very interesting movement right now because this is the third time we've seen SoFi stock get very close to have a crossover on the 1348 EMA, which is an indicator that I like to use. So when we get a crossover, that's usually a good indication, especially if it's been a long time since we've had the opposite signal. So if you have a sell and then you have a long time, a long period after that, and a movement to the downside, and then we have a crossover, there's high probability, right, that you'll see the stock run. It's not 100%, but it works many times. So it's a tool that I like to use. And many times you'll see, like here and here, where the stock tries to push towards that level and then sells off because many algos will also use this tool. So we see many times that stocks will move to that kind of cadence. If we look at the S&P 500, it's down 0.5% today. The NASDAQ is down 1.5%. So the broad market is not doing so great today, but SoFi stock is actually up today at 4.2%. A lot of liquidity is still going to SpaceX, but it has had, this is a kind of an ideal IPO graph kind of, and many times it ends up like this. So just be careful if you are, trading SpaceX. But I want to emphasize more on SoFi because SoFi is in an interesting scenario. Right now, SoFi short interest hits the second highest level in company history, 14.6%. So what's happening right now is that we could have momentum here for SoFi. We could have momentum in the market. We'll tell you in just a second. And SoFi stock has a lot of short interest. So that could be a recipe for a tasty short squeeze, right? And so we need to be careful with that because sometimes shorts will double down and they will manipulate. And we could see this try to cross over, but then pull back. We also have the resistance level here at 1981. We have the support level for SoFi stock at 1488. So these are levels that I'm looking at right now, but it will be very interesting to see what happens. Now, we did get news that oil is going to be allowed to be flowing out of Iran. So you can see here the US will allow Iran to immediately begin selling oil and fuel under the deal to end the war, according to Wall Street Journal. Why is this so important? It is important because until now, Iranian oil was sanctioned. So they could not sell to countries that were part of the sanctions. And some was getting to Russia, some was getting to China with all kind of back deals, changing ships, changing flags, all kinds of things like that. And main reason why they had massive inflation was because they were giving their people oil for on the cheap, and then people were going and selling it, elsewhere. So that was one of their problems. So if this Iranian oil is now going to flood the market, it could affect prices significantly. Moreover, the fact that President Trump is telling us that the Hormuz Strait is going to be open fully by Friday, and the second phase of the Iran deal could go fast. So all of these headlines have oil prices dropping significantly here today, although it did come up a smidge over the past hour or so. But we did fall all the way down to 74. Right now it's at 76, but this is still the lowest level that we have seen from oil since the beginning of the conflict, right? So it started on the 28th was the beginning, And then we saw oil pop. And so since that first week, this is the lowest that we've seen. And why is this so critical? It's so critical because tomorrow we have Fed Chairman, new Fed Chairman Kevin Warsh, first time, and President Trump put him there in order to start reducing interest rates. The problem is that with high inflation and a good job market, the Fed board is not going to vote to reduce interest rates. Even if the Fed chairman really wants it, they're not going to do it. But if the Fed chairman wants it, and right now oil prices are dropping, which means that in a month or two, inflation will be coming down, then there's higher probability that they will start reducing interest rates, maybe not tomorrow, but in his speech that comes after the decision announcement, the new Fed chairman, Kevin Warsh, will potentially say that they are looking at next month or the month after to start reducing interest rates. And that would be huge for the market, right? Because right now, the market has been operating on high interest rate for a very long period of time, and it's doing really good. So, what happens if loans become cheaper, if people have less expenses, they have more money in their pockets? Do they go and they spend it on stuff, right? Or do they invest and fuel the markets even more? And then you could see stocks like SoFi, that retail really loves SoFi stock, that has been hurt because retail has kind of either left or only been really focused on AI recently, AI stocks, because they have been running. So maybe more money comes back to retail, SoFi stock lovers come back, and combine that with the high short interest, that could be a recipe for a very big movement for SoFi stock. But again, anything can happen tomorrow. The Fed chairman can say that they're going to be conservative. Again, the Fed chairman doesn't decide by himself if he wants to reduce interest rates or not. There's a vote on the committee, but history has told us that if the Fed chairman really wants to reduce interest rates, then he's going to persuade the other Fed members to vote with him. He'll say, this is the reason why, one, two, three, this is why we need to do this. And the way that it's set up, high probability that he'll have a majority on the panel. But we don't know exactly how things are going to play out. Let me know in the comment section, what do you think is going to happen tomorrow? Do we see the Fed chairman uh, do nothing, or do we see the votes go to do nothing? And he says in the speech that next few months, high probability that they reduce interest rates, or could they even be thinking about raising interest rates? But I think that probability is kind of off the table right now. If the deal goes through with Iran and oil prices drop, I don't see that happening anytime soon. But who knows? I think that President Trump put Warsh in that seat for a reason. I think he thought that that was the person that could persuade the rest of the Fed members to reduce interest rate. And maybe even Powell will decide that he wants to vote for that. He's still on the committee, but now it's not his face on the podium, right? And it's not his name, as the one that did it. So maybe now he'll decide to vote for a reduction right now. We'll see. If we look at SoFi stock again, like I said, we have those levels for SoFi stock that I want to be looking at to see if we can, first of all, get a crossover. So I think that if we get SoFi stock to 1860 something, right, that range, then we'll see a crossover. But I want to see a one candle and a second candle. I want to see a second candle over that. And that would be more of a confirmation. And of course, if SoFi stock is able to break that 1981 resistance level, so that would be an indication that there could be momentum even to get up back to all the way to $30. How long could that take? Could take a little while. You can see even when we had the breakout here, it took to get to 30 about 130 days. So it will be interesting to see what could potentially happen for SoFi stock in the next coming days. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you next time. And like I always say, let's make a lot of money.